valuable, then they just put it off. They toast it and go to the next resume. So it's very important for us to write our profiles in a more professional way that can create a fast and lasting impression to anybody. So it means that you need to have or build credibility and trust quickly through your profile. A strong profile sets the tone for your career brand. It increases your chances of being noticed by recruiters and employers. And for other business people, it also increases your chance of getting business opportunities you get. It opened doors for jobs, for networking, and also visibility. So, simply put, your bio can be the difference between being overlooked and being remembered. Being overlooked mean somebody looked at and then they just tossed away your document, like they don't even remember whether they looked at you. But being remembered mean they would recall that they ever looked at some people's they looked at your document before. For instance, when I looked through, let's say, hundreds of CV, there are some people whose CV have left lasting impression for me to the extent that I would recall that I saw this CV or I saw this person's name when I was going through the CVs. You get that kind of impression is very important because then I will be able to remember and say, yes, this person probably can be a fit because that impression has already been created. It can sound somehow subjective, but that's how the real life is working because people just look at the first 7 seconds simply to decide whether or not they would like to proceed with your document. So when you're writing your profile, you should ensure that it is able to answer some of these key questions. The first one is in terms of who you are, your professional title or your current role. Your profile should have that. Your profile should identify or is your identity in the career space. So it should be like an ID for you. You get. So make sure that it has mentioned who you are, what your current role or title is, and then also what you do. Mention your areas of expertise, core skills. It can be technical or soft skill. It should be there in your profile. And then the sector stroke industry you work in, it should also be there. And then it should also mention why people should trust you or work with you, or why among all the 100 application we should consider you for a job, for instance. So you can talk about achievements or contributions you've done, talk about your education and certifications, and also the unique value or aspiration that you bring to the table. And then when writing your profile, ensure that some of these core elements are present. Current role or identity. For example, when you're writing your current role or identity, you write maybe you're a HR person, you write I'm a HR manager, or if you're a finance person, you write I'm a finance officer, something like that. You are able to already pick out your current role from there and then bring out your expertise in terms of your technical or soft skill in the role that you are holding. Provide results, measurable contributions or impact from your previous work that you are able to showcase your value through. And then your education background, ensure that it is there. And then the unique value, what sets you apart from the rest of the people. So those are some of the things you should ensure that you have when you are writing your profile. We will be looking at some examples later on through the slides, and then we'll see. So there are different types of profiles that are out there. The first one, and one that is commonly used by almost everybody, is the CV profile, which focuses, of course, on achievement, on skills, on career highlights, and it's used mainly for job applications. So that is the first type of profile. Then the second one is online, mainly on LinkedIn, where you now provide focus in terms of your career journey, your skills, your aspirations, your values you get. And it can be used on LinkedIn or your personal website. If you have personal websites, it can be used there as well. It is mainly longer you get. So it is longer than the one that you provide in there in resume. For those of us who've already developed our profile, you should already be seeing a summary profile uh, written, or how you've written your own profile on your LinkedIn. And then the third one is a conference or an event bio. Normally, it is for somebody to introduce you. You get, because it's used to introduce you, like in terms of your expertise or credibility you get. For instance, why should every other person listen to you? You get, what value do you bring to this event? So you have a summary profile that the speaker would use to introduce you to the rest of the listeners. So we have that kind of profile as well. Then the fourth one is an academic or research profile. So this profile mainly focuses on education, on research interests, on publications, and all that. And it's mainly used in university sites, research papers, and academic conferences. Yeah. And then some people, like most remote roles these days, also ask for a profile or a bio. When you're applying beyond the CV, they want you to write a one-page profile or summary of yourself and attach along with your application. So that also falls uh, around the same. And then the last one is a business or an entrepreneurial profile, which is mainly focusing on your entrepreneurial journey for people who do entrepreneurship, and then also in terms of the services that you're offering, if you're offering any service at all. And it highlights your goals, visions, mission, and all of those as an entrepreneur. And they can also be used on brochures, on social media, on project proposals, on company websites, and all of those. So those are the different types of profiles that are out there, which you need to understand, because you will not be using the same thing under different circumstances. If you're applying for a business proposal, you will not pick the two lines in your CV and use it, because it will not work. So you need to know where you are applying, where you are sending this profile, and then you craft something that is relevant to where you are sending that profile. That way, you are able to showcase your true value. So adapt your bio to the platform and the audience, but keep your core message consistent. So I'll try and show you some examples on the different types later on. Okay. So when you're writing your profile, start with your professional title, the way we've mentioned earlier on. You mentioned that if you don't have a title and you're a recent graduate, you can mention that you are a recent graduate. You get, you don't have to force things that are not there. Yeah. So start with your your professional title, then add your area of expertise. You get specializing in, you mention that because that is you showcasing your expertise on what you would bring in terms of value to the organization or wherever you're sending your profile to. And then highlight some of the key achievements that you've held in your past roles, in your career journey, and all of those. And if you are a student, you should be able to highlight achievements in your academics. Then go ahead to mention your education or certifications. Your education background is very important because then it's able to set you apart from the rest of the people. If, for instance, you're applying for a job and the requirement for a job is to hold a diploma and you have a bachelor's degree, already mentioning that you hold a bachelor's degree in this field sets you apart um, from the rest of the applicants or candidates. So then somebody will be more interested to get to know or understand you better by now going into details to look at your CV. But you need to capture their attention in your profile. And then you can conclude with your aspiration or unique value. Yeah, something that drives you, something that is making you do what you do, why you are in that field, and all of those, which we talked about in terms of our value and all of those. And that's how you write your professional uh, profile. So remember, when you're writing your profile, ensure that it is very clear and concise. Don't do too much. And depending on what type of profile you're writing, ensure that you keep it clear and concise. And then tailor it to your audience. If it is a CV, ensure you're tailoring it to the company you're applying for. If it is on your LinkedIn, ensure that you're tailoring it to that LinkedIn audience because there the intention is for recruiters to see you and be able to approach you. You get. If it is for an event, ensure that you're tailoring it to that particular event. So not the same profile works for different audience. So ensure that it is constantly tailored to suit the audience at a given time. And then use a lot of action verbs when you are writing your profile. Yeah, we will later look at how some of these action verbs looks like and how they play out in our profiles. And then also through your profile, so both technical and soft skills, because I mentioned yesterday that most recruiters will choose somebody who has more of the soft skills compared to somebody who has a lot of the technical but lacks soft skill or values, because they want people who can easily fit into their culture. And for you to fit into a culture, you require most of the soft skills. And any technical skill can be taught. That is the thinking. Then highlight some achievements in your profile. You can't mention everything. We are giving this just to provide you a background in terms of what you should write. But there's so many. There's so much in terms of your skill, there's so much in terms of your achievement. So ensure that you are able to highlight some of the achievements. You don't mention everything because then it will be unnecessary long. You get. And then avoid empty glitches when you are writing, like saying, I'm hardworking or I'm a very good team player. You get. You don't say that. You should be able to demonstrate hardworking through um, a past experience. You get how you've been able to demonstrate that you're a team player. You get. So you showcase that in form of what you've done, but not necessarily mentioning it in form of a word, because it will not hold any place. Then the last one is for you to review and update your profile regularly. Your bio should be very short, sharp, and powerful. You get. Ensure that it is constantly updated. So, most of us, when we write our profile, we have some, we've made a lot of mistakes in the past when writing our profiles. And it's very important for us to know some of these mistakes so that we're able to avoid them going forward. The first one is being too vague or generic. You get, for example, you saying, I am hardworking and motivated. You get, when you say that, it doesn't show who you are or what you do. You get, it doesn't show that. So it is very vague and generic. The number two, making it too long. You get, a bio is a snapshot. Yeah, it's not your full CV. Yeah. So when it's too long, it overwhelms the reader and they will not be interested to go further. You get, so it should be very short and impactful or powerful. Then using a lot of glitches without proof. You get, we mentioned this words like I'm a self-starter or I'm passionate without evidence. You get, this, the problem with these words is that they sound empty if you don't back it up by achievement. So when you are writing these words, ensure that they are backed up by achievements so that somebody is able to conclude on their own that yes, true, you are a self-starter. When you're saying, for example, you're a self-starter, talk about a time when you actually started something and finished it successfully. You get what the result was. That way, somebody can easily conclude that you're a self-starter, not necessarily saying, I'm a self-starter. You get. So let's avoid that. And then overloading with jargons. You get, using too technical or academic terms that a few people understand. So you don't know who is going to read through your document. And for instance, people who are in the medical field, so they have a lot of medical terms that they have that even if it's myself or any other recruiter, I do not understand all medical terms. So for me, when I'm looking at your profile, don't put a lot of terms that relates to your industry, to relates to your field of study that not everybody out there understands. Use simple languages that even a layman is able to read through and understand clearly. Because if you don't do that, you'll end up confusing the reader and then there is no clarity and then they will just toss off your document and move on to the next one. And then another mistake is leaving out achievements. So when you're writing, don't list duties. You get, don't list your duties. Instead, write out your achievements or results or the impact you've been able to do. If you list your duties, it doesn't show impact, it doesn't bring out the value that you have. So write out achievements and not your duties. And then also inconsistency across platforms. Now, when you are writing your profile in your CV, it should align with some of the social media accounts you have. If you have a website, it should align. Because when we are doing screening, we will go to your social medias and check it out to see what you are actually doing online. What kind of footprints are you leaving online? It has an implication on your candidacy. You get. So ensure that there is some level of consistency between what you are presenting in one place and the others. That way, people do not misunderstand you. That way, you do not misrepresent your personal brand because inconsistency creates confusion and we are not sure who you truly are. So we will rather work with somebody that we can actually vet and confirm their true brand. And then not updating regularly. So some of us we write one CV and then we don't update it. For instance, in the profile in our CV, we've not updated it since we've kept it like that. We will write now that we've created our profile on LinkedIn. We will not go back to edit it. We will leave it like that. Things change, circumstances change, your roles have changed, you've gained new skills, you've achieved some things, you've gained new certificates, you've moved to other organizations, you've moved to a different department, a lot of things has happened. So ensure that you are regularly updating your profile, whether it is on social media or in your CV, just to ensure that it is reflecting your current strength or your current value and what you bring to the table. So it's important for us to understand some of these pitfalls, and then your bio will be able to stand out. So, how do we link our profile to our personal brand? So, your brand or your bio is your brand in words. We said the brand is how people experience you, right? But when you write it down, now that becomes your profile or your bio. You get. It is often the first story people read about you. It should reflect your values, your expertise, and your aspiration, because that is how people will experience you. That is how people will talk about you, because it is what you've created, the image that you have created. You get. Consistency build trust. So ensure that across the board, you align all the information that you are having in your profile to be able to communicate your personal brand. And it also reflects your core values. You get. Your profile should highlight what you stand for. You get. When you're writing your profile, let it highlight what you stand for. What are the values you are upholding? What are the values that guide your career? How do you make decisions in your career, in your personal life? You should be able to highlight that. This way, it helps to connect you with the opportunities that match your values. Then through your profile, showcase your unique value. What sets you apart from others in the same field? Because there are so many of us who have the same diploma, same bachelor's degree, same master's degree. We went to the same university, scored the same first class, came out, have the same 7 years experience and all of those. But there has to be that particular thing, that value that you bring that sets you apart from the rest of the competition. So you should showcase that through your profile. Then adapt without losing your identity, meaning you should constantly tailor your bio or profile to your audience without losing your identity. Keep the core message and tone very consistent. Do not change. And the personal brand impact. A clear, well written bio positions you as a credible professional, and it also helps you attract the right opportunities, networks, and collaborations right back. So, we talked about using power words and action verbs. We talked about that. So, to make your bio very powerful, you should use a lot of the action verbs. Very, very strong action verbs. Action verbs. For example, when you're talking about leadership and management, you should be using action verbs like I led, I directed, I coordinated, I supervised, I organized, I spearheaded, I oversaw, I facilitated, I mentored. You get. Those are action verbs because now they're indicating what you actually did or the impact you've created. You get. So when you're talking about management and leadership, those are some of the action verbs you should be able to showcase in your profile. Now, when you're talking about achievements and results, talk about achieved, talk about delivered, talk about exceeded, talk about improved, increased. You're able to reduce, enhance, strengthened, generated, you get. Those are action verbs you should be able to use when you are talking about achievements and results. Then, when you are talking about problem solving, or innovation, you should be able to use words like I designed, I created, I developed, I initiated, I implemented, I streamlined, I resolved, I transformed, I modernized. All of these are action verbs that communicate problem solving and innovation. And in terms of communication and collaboration, presented, negotiated, trained, supported, influenced, advocated, facilitated, those are action verbs you should use when you are writing your profile and that touching or talking about areas in terms of communication and collaboration. And when you're talking about technical or professional skills, you now use action verbs like analyzed, evaluated, assessed, compiled, engineered, researched, audited, action verbs that are able to communicate, you know, your professional and technical skills. Now, when you are writing, start off sentences with action verbs. They show confidence and impact. For example, instead of saying, I was responsible for recruitment, say, I led recruitment of 50 staff across 3 departments. That way, you are already, we said, they saw confidence and impact, right? Because now you're talking about an action verb, which is led, meaning you took charge of the entire recruitment cycle, you get, and you were able to recruit up to 50 staff across 3 different departments, you get. So it is more impact oriented, and it is interesting because somebody is already able to see what you can do just by reading this line, you get. You don't say, I was responsible for recruitment and stop there. So what does that mean? That you are responsible? What did you actually do? There is no impact there, you get. So we should always start by showcasing, by use of action verbs, because then we are able to show the impact that we have created in our previous role. Updating our bio regularly. So, when do you feel it is confident or it is time for you to update your bio? After major career changes, think about updating your profile. When there are new opportunities, like when you get a promotion, when you change organization, you get update, because these are major career changes. You can be able to update your profile or bio so that you are able to stay current or up to date with what is happening in your career. And after achievements or milestones, when you complete a project or lead an initiative, when you receive an award or a certificate or a recognition for something, you update your bio because you want this to be captured in your bio. Then you can also update after trainings or education. If you finish a degree, you update. If you finish a course, you update. If you finish a master's degree, you update. If you've added yourself a new skill, you update. You get. So after any training or education, you are able to update. For those of us who have time, at least every after 3 months, you can update. Even if nothing major changed, you get. You can review your bio and change it, remove updated information, and keep it fresh, even if nothing major has happened in your life. If you don't have time, you feel you don't have time, you can do 6 months. Other people say, me, I want to do it in even 12 months, which of course is a long period of time. But this is something that shouldn't take you 30 minutes to do. So even every month, if you are somebody who has passion for learning, every after a month or two, you've learned something new. So you should be able to update your profile. Then keep in mind that you should constantly tailor your uh, bio or profile for new opportunities. If you're applying for a different job, change because it is not the same. Your focus in terms of your achievement will be different. So you should be able to change. Only on your LinkedIn, you should be able to change. If there are major career changes or aspirations, you should change. Tailor for new opportunities that will present itself. You get. Yes. So weak versus a strong profile example. For instance, if we are writing a very generic and vague profile that is not so good, we talk about I'm a hardworking, motivated, and I'm passionate about HR. You get. I can work under pressure and in any environment. I'm looking for opportunities to grow. The problem with this is that it is too vague. You get. There is no identity to it. There is no role. There are no achievements. There is no proof of work, and it sounds like too much talking. Yeah, without impact. That's when we looked at a very weak bio. It's not properly written because there is simply nothing to it. There is no weight or volume that it's carrying. And somebody can easily toss this away because they feel like there's no impression. Like, I don't want to waste my time going through that. And on the other hand, a more stronger and more impactful profile would look something like so. When you say human resource and administration manager with 7+ years of experience in the NGO sector, you get skilled in recruitment, onboarding, employee relations, and compliance with labor standards. You are already communicating your skills. Successfully developed HR policies that improved staff retention by 20%. That's already an achievement and it's an impact you're already creating. Holds a master's degree in human resource management, passionate about, you are already communicating your value. So when you talk about passionate about building conflict sensitive HR systems that support peace and organizational performance. So you are already communicating your value through this. So it's very important for you to see the difference between what is a weak and a strong bio. By the time you're done through today, you should be able to go back to your CV or your LinkedIn profile and see what is it that my profile is communicating. If it is not very strong, then you have the opportunity to recraft it so that it's very strong and is able to communicate the value that you bring to the table. So from this strong bio, the strength we are able to see is here is that there is a clear role identity. You were able to see here that a human resource and admin manager, that is the role and that is the identity we are talking about. Specific skills have been mentioned where we talk about recruiting, onboarding, employee relations, compliance with labor standards, and all of those. Those are skills that we mentioned. Measurable achievements, we talk about successfully developed HR policies that improved staff retention by 20%. That is very measurable. You're able to see that. And then education and aspirations included, yes, we are able to see that because we are talking about holds a master's degree in human resource management, you get. And then aspirations, you're talking about passionate about building conflict sensitive HR systems and all that. So that is the aspiration. So when you look at this side, you can be able to see these are the strengths, and then they are able to at least communicate your value compared to the other version where things are simply vague and there are no impact, through the document. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at how recruiters use bios. First of all, when you send your CV, recruiters use your CV as a screening tool. You get, because we have quite a number of CVs to look through. So the recruiters read your profile first, then they decide if you match the role or not. You get, a strong bio makes them want to read your full CV. So if it is not very strong, they'll toss it away. There are higher chances that your CV will be skipped if your profile or bio is very weak. So these profiles are used for screening. And then they are also used for starting conversations. Most times on interviews, the first questions that come out are from your profile. You get. So it's very important for you to understand that your profile can also form a tool for starting a conversation during an interview. And then branding impression, yes. Your bio shapes how recruiters perceive you professionally. So, how they will look at you professionally in terms of whether or not you'll be able to do this job, or if you match the values and cultures of the organization, they're able to tell that from your profile. And then it is also used as a quick differentiator. Yeah. When there are many candidates with the similar CVs, strong profiles help you stand out because you are able to show both competence in terms of your skills and also your character in terms of the values that you've put in your profile. That will be the only thing that will set you apart from the rest of the candidate if there are a number of you competing from the same role. And then lastly, of course, for future opportunities, recruiters and managers keep bios on profile. You get. So even if you don't get one job, your bio could position you for future role. And there are a number of instances where sometimes we go through recruitment and then we feel that somebody is a very strong candidate, but not for this particular role. So we keep that kind of person in the loop and we keep their profile on file just for any future opportunities. And the person will be informed, you get, that you are maybe overqualified for this role, but then we are keeping you for another position that we expect in the near future. Then that kind of opportunities are you are considered for those kind of opportunities because you are able to demonstrate a very strong value through your profile. So the key point for you is that your bio is not just an introduction, it's a decision-making tool for recruiters. They use it to screen you, to question you, and also to remember you. So if you write it poorly, then they will use it to forget you. But ensure that it is written properly to the extent that people are able to remember you by it. I think that's yes. So that's everything that we've been able to cover today in terms of what a profile or a bio is. We say that's a professional snapshot in terms of a summary or a short story of your career. And it should be able to answer questions around who you are, what you do, and why should people trust you. And strong profiles are specific, achievement focused, and also very credible. And then there are different platforms and need different versions for CV, for LinkedIn, conference, academic, entrepreneurship, and all of those. And keep your profile updated throughout and not keep it up to the same profile for different things and different uses. Yeah. So, like I mentioned, today is a very short one. uh, I'll close off my screen. That's everything we had to cover today. And we still have a whole hour, but we have a number of other things we need to do. And I'll close this screen. I'll see if I have my profile somewhere else. I can be able to share that with you. And so we can see the differences, but then we can pick a few people who have some questions and answers they would like um, us to respond to. Let me stop sharing this. Um, yes, Bida is not yet back. So please, if you have a question, yes, go ahead and then you go and you ask as I try to open a document that I can show you for my profile. Thank you. Did you learn something? What was different from here? How does this relate to the profile that you've already written? Anybody who has any questions, please go ahead. No questions? Comments? If you have a comment. Yes, Anne, please go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I just have a brief question concerning the profile. Like the faculty that I did, it requires some license, and I did law, and for you to be a certified advocate, you have to go for an industrial training, like for a year, so that you'll be given that license. And right now, what is making it difficult for me to write, or should I write myself as a lawyer in making? Because I've not yet gone for my practice or the industrial training, and it's now making me very difficult for me to write my whatever my career. I just need some clarification.
Oh, so you haven't gotten your license for practicing law.
Yes,
So how should you record that in your CV?
yes,
How this license is being issued in South Sudan? Hello.
yes, please.
So what you can do, um, you can always indicate that you have already completed, but simply awaiting getting your admission or license. You get, because
Okay,
I understand for law they usually give you up to a year for you to practice in LDC. I don't know if South Sudan has LDC, but they give you a year to go to Law Development Center and practice. Then now they give you a practicing license. You get,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, in South Sudan, we don't have an established LDC, but then they just put a procedure whereby you go to one of the law firms, and when you get admitted, you practice there. Then they just take your documents to the bar association for documentation. Then after that one full year, they will give you the license. And that license will be given to you after some exams, like oral interview, something of that kind.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's okay. It's good for you to indicate it in your document the way it is, and not and not to put that you have it when you don't have it, because when you have it, it's part of the document you need to attach, you get. So don't say you have it when you don't have it, but just mention that you are in the process of acquiring your license, you get. But of course you
Yes.
can already indicate that you have completed your bachelor's program in law.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
So thank you.
Okay.
Mian Joseph.
Yeah, actually, so my question is, I'm confused in the area of achievements and awards. So, like for instance, if
Achievement
somebody
and
have
award.
achievements and awards, like for instance, if somebody have started university from first year to fourth year and have finished or graduated and received his or her own degree. So I don't know. Some people, or me, particularly me, let me talk about myself. So you can say like I can say like I've achieved something, okay? Like I've achieved, I consider as achievement. I don't know, is it achievement or awards? Because I'm confused here. Like for instance, also if I finish short courses for 3 months or 6 months or internships, and I'm being awarded by with a certificate. So can I consider it as achievements or awards? Because I don't know the achievements. I'm confused here about the achievements and the awards. So that's my question.
Okay, thank you. So an achievement is just anything you accomplish through effort. It shows results, progress, or success in your education, career, or personal development. It does not always come with a certificate you get, or a trophy or anything you get. So if you complete a university degree, yes, that is an achievement because yeah. But of course, you will be given a certificate. Yeah, finishing your internship successfully, yes, that's an achievement. You get. So it is not normally associated with the certification or trophies and all that. Whereas an award is something you are formally given. You get. They give it to you as recognition. You get. For example, if you are in a debate and you are a very good debater, they award you. You get excellence, or in school they award you academic excellence for being maybe a best student or anything, or you get an award for scholarship, or given based on performance, or certificate of completion even after an internship. That's just also, so anything that you get as a recognition for you for something that you've done is an award you get. So the achievements are things that you have been able to accomplish, but some of them may not necessarily have awards or certificates or trophies attached to it, but still they are achievements. But the awards are very specific. Is something or somebody or an institution recognizing you and giving it to you. You get. So think about achievements in terms of what you did. You get. And then think of award as what you were given. That way you were able to differentiate between the two. So when you are talking about achievements, you can talk about in your CV what you've been able to accomplish in your career. You get. And also in your CV, you can add a section of awards and certificates. Now you indicate all the certificates you've received. You get. That shows that you were given certificates, honorary, something like that. I hope that's clear. Okay. Yes, Guy, please go ahead. Yes, Guy? Guy, your hands up. If you're talking, you are still muted. We can't hear you. Okay, so let's answer Callisto. Callisto saying, could you clarify on the difference between a brand and a bio? So we said a bio is a short written description of who you are professionally. You get it includes your role, your experience, your skills, and aspirations. And think of it as the snapshot that we talked about. Just a quick introduction you can put on your CV, on your LinkedIn, on in a conference program, and all of those. Think about it as that you get. And for your brand, it is much bigger than the bio. It's the overall perception people have of you. You get is the whole perception people have of you. It's your reputation, it's your values, it's your strength, and the unique value you consistently bring out. It's built not just through your words, but also through your actions, through your behavior, and consistently across different platforms. So your brand answers, oh, what do I want to be known for? That is your brand. So if you put an answer to what you want to be known for, how do you want people to talk about you? How should people remember you? You get that's your brand. Yeah. I hope that's very clear for you. Yes. Okay, Callisto. And let's say Anne is saying, what's the difference between training and certification in line with writing a personal brand or bio? Training and certification. So, um, when we look at a training, is when you attend a course, a workshop, or a program to learn, let's say, a new skill or a knowledge. It can be short, a few hours, a few days, a weeks, or longer, even in months. You get at the end, sometimes you get a certificate of participation, but not always. You get that is a training. You gain skills, but it may not carry formal way outside the learning. That is the idea. But a certification is more formal. It means you not only attended training but also met specific standards, often by passing an assessment. You get. So in the certification, you will participate in the training, gain skills, gain knowledge, and they give you assessment, you pass it, and then they give you a certificate to that effect. So the certification are usually recognized by professional bodies, universities, or international organization. They prove that you are qualified in a certain skill or a certain field. That is the difference. Just a thumbs up if that explains. Yes. Any other question? Yes, go on, Mitchell. So I wanted us to just in a moment. Just, let's go. So just to turn side. see this. So I've written a short summary here for myself. It's not all the time, but you can see it here. Just a thumbs up if you're able to see this. It's not very big, but should be able to see it. Can zoom it, and zoom it. Yes, everybody can see that. Yeah. So here is an example of different profiles that I've written. For instance, if I'm writing my CV, I'm applying for a certain job or role, then I will have something like this as this one as a profile or a bio for myself. So I've written Human Resource and Administration Manager. That is my title. With this is not my current title, but I'm applying for a HR role. My title is operations, like head of operations, but I'm applying for a HR job. So I need to indicate that I'm a human resource and administration manager with over 7 years of progressive experience in the NGO sector, skilled in full circle recruitment, onboarding, performance management, compliance, and conflict sensitive HR practices, successfully conducted HR audits and capacity assessments, strengthening organizational system, and ensuring donor compliance. Holds a master's degree in human resource management and recognized for developing HR strategies that enhance staff retention and organizational effectiveness. Passionate about building people-centered HR frameworks that foster productivity, accountability, and peace. So that alone answers everything we've talked about in terms of having a very strong CV. You are able to see the title there, you are able to see the skills there, you are able to see the achievements there, you are able to see the education background, you are able to see the values and all of those. You are able to see it in the profile. Now, when you go to number 2, it's a little bit bigger. It could fit a LinkedIn profile, for instance. When now I'm writing a LinkedIn profile, I would write something like this. I'm a human resource and admin manager with 7 years of experience supporting NGOs in South Sudan and the wider region. Over the years, I've specialized in full circle recruitment, onboarding, performance management, compliance, conflict sensitive HR practices that strengthen organization systems and improve staff engagement. My experience spans leading HR audits, conducting organizational capacity assessment, and developing HR strategies that align with donor requirements while fostering productivity and accountability. I hold a master's in degree in human resource management, and I am passionate about creating people-centered HR frameworks that not only drive efficiency but also contribute to peace building and sustainable organizational growth. Beyond HR operations, I'm committed to coaching, mentorship, and talent development, helping individuals and organizations unlock their potential. I believe that strong values driven HR is the backbone for organization success. When you read this one and you read the first one, there is a clear similarity. You are able to almost see the same things in terms of who I am, what I do, what I stand for. You are able to see it throughout. Then, if I am sending a profile for a conference where somebody needs to introduce me, I'll write something like this so that they're able to read it out. You get. So if somebody is reading my profile for a conference, they should sound something like, my name is Human Resource and Administration Manager with over 7 years of experience in the NGO sector. She holds a master's degree in Human Resource Management, has led initiative in recruitment, performance management, compliance, conflict sensitive HR practices. She's passionate about building people-centered HR frameworks that strengthen organizations and foster sustainable growth. You will still see similarities, yeah, in terms of the flow of what has been done and all of those. And then In terms of academics or research, same thing. When you read through, you are able to see similarities in terms of work done, achievements, skills, and all of those. When we talk about a business or entrepreneurship, same thing. You're able to see basically the same thing. The flow, the structure, and the content in terms of whatever we've talked about remains the same. Okay, we don't need to read all through this, and we'll just close it there. Eh, Callisto, you have any question? Please go ahead.
Yes, Brenda, everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, mine is a question,
Mm,
but before the question, I would like to make a comment.
yeah.